What up, YouTube? We weren't doing anything. We were just messing around. It's your boys, Detroit Love, P-Dubs Arcade Loft, Michael B. the Game Genie, and Nostalgia with another episode of the Super Game Room Dudes. Friday night just got live.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
I hate that intro. I hate it.
It's not very good. Before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to Dan Z in our chat. He is celebrating his 48th birthday with us tonight, so just want to give you a big shout out, buddy. Happy birthday to you, man.
Hold on 1 second, guys. He's Dan Z. He's 48.
Good job, Mike. I don't know if that was in reference to something or.
Yes. I'm 48 years old.
48.
I'm 48 years old.
Good for you.
Frozen nostalgia. It's better than frozen fish sticks.
All right, Michael B., who's in the chat?
I see Sonic Fun 01, Dan Z, Console Fanboy, King Creole, Headshake TV, Conti Dinda, Retro Labrat, and Retro Labrat. I thought it was Retro Lariat at first. I'm a big wrestling fan, so that was exciting. Matt Thompson, Jamie Loken, Arcade Mountain, Chris Zeke, Schned 2000. I got to go up and try to catch some of the other people I missed. King Creole, if I didn't say it already. Frank D, MC's Game Room, Louis P, Zero Hero, Shoeshine, Herb Wars, my longtime friend, Jolly Green, where's P-Dubs? I know it's not much of a show without P-Dubs, but he's a little under the weather, and we're trying to get him back. At least Carl is the one running the ship tonight, guys, not me, so you don't need to complain. Steven, Redenkop, Jason, Shoeshine, Nostalgia Left, Dave Moore, Matt Astra Gaming, Canada Phil. All right. Who else do we got? Do we have anybody else? Battles, The Realism, Molar Medic. I think we're just about caught up there now. Soxcade, and we're caught up, Carl.
Well, it looked like Nostalgia probably they closed down the Arby's near him, huh? So his internet's gone.
Yeah, he bailed. He was like, "No dubs, I'm out of here."
Right. That 48 years old thing, he didn't know what was going on, so kind of threw him off.
He took off.
This is awkward. So, brother, what do we want to talk about first today? You want to talk about this ALU, because that's the AtGames Legends Ultimate, man. That sounds like something that you're pretty excited about. A lot of people have been getting their first ALU for the first time at 1.1, and now are they going to be mad because there's now 2.0 on the horizon? Are they going to have to take it back to Sam's Club and get their money back? What's going on?
Here's the thing. The 2.0 isn't on the horizon. The 2.0 is actually out. Consumers already have the 2.0. Stephen Haywood got a AtGames Legends Ultimate 2.0 the other day. Didn't even know it. That's the thing. They stealth dropped it. Sneaky dropped it.
So you won't know. It's sort of like an Apple phone. They just say Apple phone, right? And you don't know which version it is. Okay,
pretty much. I'll explain it in a second. But first, Carol, we got a super chat here from Tyler V. $4.99 United States dollars. Give me some Sinden on iArcade. Deets Genie. Don't make Detroit Love bring the SmackDown. Last thing I want to do is switch sides to Nostalgia. Nobody wants that. Thank you very much, Tyler V. I appreciate it, brother.
Well, I said iPhone, but I meant iPad. You know, the iPad was always, they just said, the new iPad. There's Nostalgia back. What's going on, brother? We missed you. What happened?
Just had a power outage. Just lost power across everything, and now I'm back.
Oh, that was a pretty short one, so that worked out good.
Yeah, just off and on. So,
Tech Buzz with a correction. It's the 1.2, not the 2.0. Nostalgia tried to correct this earlier, but no one believed him. We should have known. I mean, he is a full-fledged AtGames employee. I don't know why we argued with him about it.
Yeah, we argued at length too. We said, you're not working anymore. What do you know? and apparently he does still work there.
I have this really excellent skill called active listening. When somebody's talking, I tend to listen to what they say, and I
What you
absorb
say?
it. Yeah,
What
that's
do you
right,
say,
Carl.
Michael P?
That's exactly right.
All right.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. Go ahead, Nostalgia. I was distracted by the chat.
All I was saying is that sometimes you just got to listen to me because I'm 100% right 60.39% of the time.
Is this mic not working, Michael P? What's going on over there?
What, can you not hear Nostalgia?
No, I couldn't hear. What did he say?
I don't know. He said some stuff about being right. I don't really listen.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. I heard you, brother. So I'm listening.
So I just want to clarify. So this 1.2 apparently, or 2.0, I don't know what the naming nomenclature means and stuff like that. So the 1.2, the biggest difference is it has internal memory, much like the ALP Micro did. So you no longer need the extra thumb drive to download. What is it? The
App Store X.
App Store X, yeah.
App Store X.
Flash Drive X. Basically, you can do everything online and store some of your games online.
Store some of your games online. What do you mean online?
I'm sorry, on the machine.
On board?
Nostalgia. Yes, on board.
Okay.
Let's go easy tonight. We don't have a buffer in dubs, so let's try to be nice to each other. No need to get so snotty right away.
It's just in my nature, buddy.
Pace. So tell me about this 1.2 Nostalgia, because I'm actively listening.
Well, I don't actually know that much about it, other than it is the exact same as the 1.1, except it has additional internal storage. That's it.
Literally,
that's the difference. Yeah. Functionality, features, accessories, everything is identical. There is no differences looking at the machine visually. All you get with the newer version is, I think it's an extra 8 gigs of storage. I can't recall exactly what it was, but you get a certain amount of extra storage for downloading titles essentially off the App Store X.
And that was going to be my question, because when I got the 1.1 over the 1, it came with the new side panel that you had to screw on, right? The vinyl siding that didn't actually adhere. It was just pinned up. And then I think I lost 50 games or so. It was originally 350 and it went down to 300. So they kept everything the same then this time around.
Ritual Dello says 1.2 has real T molding too. Didn't all the cabinets already have real T molding?
Not the original ALP 1.0. That had like the same sort of glue-on faux molding. But I'm pretty sure like the ALU Mini, I know that one uses real T molding. But I'm not, maybe the 1.1 also used real T molding. Mike, do you know? I still have mine in a box behind me. I keep mine sealed. I'm a collector, Mike.
I know. I think the Mini had real T molding. I'm not 100% sure. For the people in the chat saying everybody already knew this, clearly we didn't. So we're talking about it. This show's for us, guys, not you. Come on, get with the program.
Super chat from Console Fanboy. $10 super chat. Thank you, brother. Do you guys feel it's sort of a waste of time to say hello to every single person in the chat when all it does is make people feel bad if you've left them out? Not to mention it wastes time. Just my opinion. Well, that's just a habit that P-Dubs has always done. So we keep the trend going. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you as always. But we definitely don't intend to miss any or leave anybody out. But obviously we take time and acknowledge who we can.
And I personally take enjoyment in making people feel bad when we miss their names. So like we kind of balance it out by like doing some good for you and some good for me.
Yeah, and Console Fanboy doesn't realize we don't unintentionally leave people out. We intentionally leave people out. Those are the people we don't want around.
That's why they never say hi to me.
So the ALU, I've seen a lot of people picking up theirs for the first time in the chats, in the forums on the Facebook groups. So a lot of people have been pretty excited. I just released this video that's sort of my Arby's drive-to thing that I'll do later. But somebody was mentioning that my video was wearing them out, and they had just put together their ALU, so they were pretty excited about it. Now, nostalgia. Have you gotten any of those the banners? What do you call those things? Those marquees, the upgraded marquees.
Yeah, you mean for the side panels? Is that what you're
No,
talking about, or for
like
the
like
actual?
Legends Arcade, like
So I
Michael
actually
B
have
has that on
both.
top
I've
of
got
things.
a BitPixel LED and an LCD, both of which haven't opened up yet. I still have them in the box. I was a huge, as soon as I saw the BitPixel LCD, I was like, that is badass. Like it looks really good. And even in videos, like when you're looking at it behind mic, like it displays well. It's clearly very bright, vivid. It's got lots of exactly what you want it to have. It can like really just be whatever marquee you want it to be. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Mine is still in the box, the Big Pixel, because when I got mine, when I finally got it, then they released the other one, and then once everybody had theirs, I'm like, why do I open this thing up anymore? So I hadn't.
You should leave it sealed, like me. Join the
Right.
sealed club collectors.
What's so funny, Michael B? What's going? What are we missing?
Zohar, if you're still here, brother, obviously that comment about leaving people out wasn't directed at you. You got to watch him. He clips everything. Everything's content for this guy.
Well, you're on the next video.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Good thing I didn't say anything.
That's because you're not brave, Carl. You got to be brave, man. You got to take a stand once in a while. If you don't take a stand for something, you'll die for nothing.
I disagree. I think you should be a sheep, and I think that you should just follow the herd, and you'll find meaning in never fulfilling any of your own desires. That's what I think.
I usually wait for somebody that I consider to be influential to me to state an opinion, and then I restate that opinion and try to push their narrative.
That's why you always copy me so much, isn't it?
I know.
Jeez. Interesting. Well, now at least I've got a window into the mind of Mike, so...
Yeah, it's funny. I had a buddy growing up that would always do that. If you copped a real good joke and there was no witnesses, he was definitely going to say it once everybody else was in the room and take credit for it. So you had to not say anything good when it was just you and him, because he was going to steal it and use it against you.
Yeah, I knew a couple people like that. Those are the best. Go ahead, Mike.
So anyways, guys, we apologize if people knew about the ALU 2.0. This is something that came up in the chat the other day. But
1.2.
again, Nostalgia was right, 1.2. I did mention it to the other guys. I was like, hey, there's this new ALU 2.0. And everybody was like, yeah, cool. And no one corrected me and say, Mike, you don't know what you're talking about. Because usually I have some kind of buffer here.
Well, it sounded good, and I'm always in hopes of the ALP 2.0 coming out, where I can get the cabinet that looks a little more refined, like a pinball machine. So whenever I see 2.0, I get excited.
Yeah,
there is no 2.0, guys.
No 2.0.
That doesn't exist. There
It's
is
never going to
1.2.
exist? Is that what you're telling me? 30 years from now, I'm still not going to get my 2.0?
For all we know, you'll get a 1.9, but you may not get a 2.0.
So really quickly before we read the super chat. No, read the super chat first, Carl. You're the man.
Super chat from Carl O. $5 super chat. Thank you, brother. Someone needs to tell AtGames to make a ALU 3.0 with a 32-inch with a rotate feature of the ALU Mini and the newest Rock Chip 3588.
See, what we need to do is we just need to skip the 2.0 altogether. It doesn't need to exist. We'll go straight from 1.2 to 3.0 and just blow everybody's socks off. That's the way that we need to number our new arcade machines in our homes.
Now, when you were saying our, is that
like
is that,
we
is
buy
that
it,
because,
us as consumers?
Oh, I thought it was because
collectively. You son of a, yeah, I know what you were thinking.
No, I mean, because sometimes you try to surprise us, and I don't want to miss anything.
So I promise, if I was doing anything like that, you guys would be the first to know.
So I think I will use this opportunity to say something that I've been meaning to say to AtGames for a long time. I love their product. I love the ALU. I love the ALP. But I really wish they would take some constructive criticism from the community. And one thing that's constantly been mentioned is people don't like the look of the machine itself, whether or not it's the artwork or whether or not it's actually the shape and design. I have been hoping that there would be a 2.0 at some time and a more traditional US based arcade shape to the ALU. I think that would help them sell a bunch of units too. I don't like the shape. I think it's, I like it for what it is, but I think I would like it a lot more if it was a little more boxy, 80-ish, and maybe a little bulkier.
Well, the reality with that shape is if you look at most of the multicades that's been out for years, that's the shape they've taken on. And obviously they wanted to cut that big cabinet in half so it doesn't take up as much space, because the real arcade takes up a lot of space in a depth, right? So they're trying to tailor to the most common denominator versus that unique shape of the 80s. So they have to take that in consideration, and that's the thing about the one pony cabinet companies like iircade and AtGames. It's working as it is. It doesn't. It takes a lot for them to have to change that, right? I mean, it's a cost that comes with all those changes. And really, why would you? Is if people wanted to put custom graphics on it because they had a love for a particular thing, then they had those options, and they don't have to take that cost or a loss in their profits for it, because no matter what they do to it, everybody's not going to be satisfied, right, with that change, right? So why take the chance? Why put the investment in it when it's only going to reach a smaller percentage? Now, when AtGames was the only pony in town, before Arcade1Up, with all these other options of cabinets and styles and shapes, it's like, now why even do it? Because if they want a Star Wars, they're going to get that cabinet from them, right? If they want those other unique things, because the reality is they're only going to get one of their cabinets. No one's going to have 6 ALUs in their house, right? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of hard. It's a hard battle to fight for just you, Michael B.
Well, that's the argument, and I want to get this super chat, and I don't want to miss this comment. 499 super chat from Console Fanboy. So when we are talking about that 2-year-old Switch game announced for iArcade today, I'm very ready. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Console Fanboy. We will talk about that when we get to iArcade, but I appreciate your interest and excitement in talking about it.
Your eagerness to let us know that not only are you excited, but you are ready.
Yeah, well, I will actually have a little bit of a rebuttal about that. So this is a comment I really like from J Everyday 317. The shape is fine. Screen and control deck could be a little higher. So I got a package in the mail today from what is the pinball place? That Pinball Life, I think it's called. From P-Dub's video. I got my Sega Stern legs because I have said since day one, the ALP, being the superior home arcade virtual pinball machine at retail, through regular stores, or I don't know what you call it. But anyways, the ALP really won that war on the pinball side. But one of the things that kills me about the ALP is, as awesome as it is and as many things as it can do, it is a little bit too short. And honestly, after I play for a little while, my back does start to hurt, whether that's on me for not taking better care of myself or for being too tall. I don't know what the answer is, but I can play on my Arcade1Up pinball for hours on end without having any back pain, but that ALP is a little short. And it's the same thing with the ALU as well. It's a little short in the deck. And I'm going to, talk about this. I have mentioned it to AtGames a lot of times. I say really mean things like, when are you going to start making arcades and pinball machines for adults? And anyways, what their response is don't expect a change in the height for the control deck or the pinballs going forward, because they're basing this on the worldwide average for people's height, which is somewhere around 5'5", 5'6". Now, I disagree with that. I think that the majority of people playing these machines are probably like me and a little bit taller and find controls on both a little low for standing. But, they've got their mantra mandate of what they're going to go with. But I agree with you. It should be higher. But I think we're going to have to look at third-party sources like the Buy Stuff Riser, and also like this pinball place I bought my Stern legs from today in order to increase the size of the machine. I don't see a first-party response coming from AtGames.
Well, I mean, Michael B., in all honesty, you do live on an island, okay?
You do.
And so you have a limited view of the world, okay? Everybody must be tall on your island. So, they have to build for the common denominator. And most people aren't 6'5". You know what I mean? So they have to do that. And a lot of people, I mean, it's been that way since the ALP and the ALU, and even for a lot of the Arcade1Up, people make these custom risers, right? That you can sit that on, so it brings you the height. I remember when the pinball came out, people had those like lifters up. It looked like the Star Wars. What's that? Battleship, whatever that thing was, that character. And people were talking about it, but he needed that because at his height, he was going to be very uncomfortable with the cabinet. What were you saying, Nostalgia? Sorry. Okay.
Couple things. So I'm actually really short. I'm 5'3", and I think that the ALP is a great size. I don't know what you're talking about, Mike. It's perfect. I can barely just see. I like when I stand up to the machine, I got to hold the buttons up top by my head, and I go on my tippy toes, and I can see the play field, so I can play just fine there. But no, I do agree with you on the height of it. I'm taller than you are, Mike. I'm about 6 feet, so
Just a smidge. I'm
just
like
a little
5'11".
bit. But
Smidge.
what I'm saying is, I can relate. I get it. I wish it's not even that I think it needs longer legs, but I think the adjustments that you can do on it just need like an extra inch or two. Like it doesn't need much. It just needs a little bit of extra height. And when you were talking about the ALU, I also mostly agree with you. I think that I also agree with Carl. I don't think the artwork really matters. I mean, it would be nice if you had really cool artwork with it, but it's a multicade. So it's going to be, from AtGames side, a licensing nightmare to be able to get one company to sign off on allowing their IP to take over all of the art. And then you're going to end up with some like collage like they typically do that sometimes they look okay, but sometimes they don't. And then, I mean, it is what it is. You're going to cover it up. You're going to do whatever you want, buy some graphics. But I 100% agree that we should see a different style of cabinet. Yeah. Something like the NFL Blitz cabinet behind you, or like a Street Fighter style boxiness, Mortal Kombat boxiness. I think that in general, even with the same graphics implanted on that shape, it would just look better.
So for those of you wondering why I keep putting up the comments, it's because they mostly cover Nostalgia's face, and I feel more comfortable with that done like that.
Interesting, because now I can do this.
Oh, you son of a!
It's so cool having some sort of control over the stream.
Yeah, I know. Super chat $9.99 US. iArcade also announced Wizard of Walls. I'm torn if I should get it for free on Steam or pay $7.98 for the gold plus $9.99 for the game. Can you help me with my decision? Oh, that I don't know if it's called a straw man's argument, or we'll come back to that. Console fanboy, thank you very much for the super chat. We also had another one there. The chat is flying. Where's all our mods? Super chat $2 US. Tell people should just buy Shack Edition cabs only. I don't disagree with that.
Did you say tell people?
Tell people. Yeah, tall people.
People.
Oh. Thought it said tall people.
It does say tall people.
I thought it said tell people, but it said tall people.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Stringer Films. That Shack Edition cab, believe it or not, actually has a lower control deck. Funny enough.
Than the ALU?
Than the ALU?
No, nothing has a lower control deck.
Yeah, I was going to say absolutely nothing on the market has a lower control deck.
Yeah, I've seen the Babycade's control deck is higher.
So it's like 1.5 inches taller. Even the Micro Center cabs with the Xbox Series X's in there are a little bit taller too.
Oh, that's the sweet spot right there. That's the greatest cab you could buy.
The best one.
All right, so are we all done with the AtGames segment? Want to move on to the iArcade?
Yeah, I think Console Fanboy is ready and willing to move on. $1.99 in super chat. I just wanted to pay $2 to say I hate the iArcade. Tell us how you really feel.
No, it's funny. It's funny. We talk about the cabinets, and someone was asking me last week, it's like, was the iArcade the least played, or was collecting dust or something like that? And the reality is, when I think about it, I thought about it over the week, and really, actually, the Star Wars cabinet is the least played cabinet in my basement, aside from the NBA Jam, which technically isn't mine, but it's still here. But I never bought that for me. But the Star Wars actually is the least played for me. And I think it's just, I didn't grow up playing that game. I always was fascinated with Star Wars, but I just like the look of it, and I really enjoy it. And people come over, I like it because it has that control, which is unique. and so you got to have it in your room. But actually, when I thought about it, that is the least played game over the iArcade. But the iArcade, I was just, I've been doing my KI Pro forever now, right? And I was testing out the speakers because people were saying that the speakers are bad. Nothing can touch the speakers on the iArcade. And the speakers, you can't even have that thing at full blast. I couldn't hear for like 2 hours after testing that thing at full volume, comparing it to the KI Pro. The NBA Jam has the nice speakers on it, but without any doubt, the speakers on the iArcade is more premium than anything, and it also has the highest control deck than any cabinet in my game.
Hold on one second, guys. I'm trying to get a comment up, but they keep moving here. Sean Nesbitt, my buddy Sean, just threw a pop culture piece up here that I want to talk about. Jeremy Renner is actually, they're going to have to amputate his leg, and that is tough, man. So for those of you who don't know, Jeremy Renner was injured in like some kind of snowplow accident. He actually saved somebody in real life, like went out and saved someone and injured himself doing so, and he's going to end up getting his leg amputated. So yeah,
is that confirmed? Because I read earlier on today that they might have to do it, but I didn't read that they were definitively going to do it.
I'm only going by what Sean says.
Well, I guess if Sean says that, it must be true. So
I mean, why would I not believe him?
That's a fair point. All right, let's just assume it is. Poor Jeremy Renner.
If it is true, that is terrible.
That is.
So Michael, we were talking about the height decks of the control panel. The iArcade definitely has the highest one. Is that true in your arcade? I know you have some different cabinets. I know you have the deluxe, or not the deluxe, but the XP XL cabinets. So I don't know how they compare.
So it's kind of funny. I did a review of the riser boosters that Buy Stuff Store made for the ALU. And it's crazy because the first riser booster, the smaller one, brings the control deck up to the same height as an Arcade1Up control deck. But the second one actually matches the height of the iArcade. It's like they intentionally made it for home arcade fans to meet your ideal height. When I first got my iArcade, I did find that the control deck was a little high. That was my original consensus on it. Like, I was used to playing on Arcade1Up, and honestly, that Arcade1Up deck is right around what typically arcade heights for control deck is. They made a point of doing that. While on the riser, that's the traditional height for control deck of a normal arcade cabinet. So I did feel that the iArcade was a little awkward at first because of the extra height.
You could solve that just by getting a little bit taller or wearing some platform shoes when you play the iArcade.
Oh, I got big platform shoes with like little fish in them.
Yeah, you should get, I mean, if you're going for a nostalgic feel, you may as well.
Yeah.
Well, we all knew that the iArcade definitely had an odd shape even from its inception. I was just glad that they changed the color, because remember, the color was a real unique color scheme. But Jong did change that before he released it, so that was awesome.
Yeah, so that's one thing right from the beginning. iArcade was always very perceptive and reactive to the community wants. I mean, that's why we have the gold edition now, is because they heard a lot of comments for people in the community saying, I would love to get an iArcade if it had this, this, and this. So like that's some of the mixed messaging when they released a new unit so early in their life cycle. It wasn't so much that you had to upgrade and forcing people to upgrade like the iPhone every year and how they sneakily destroy your battery life. But this was more so that this was responding to the criticism of some of the people outside the community that said, I would buy one if it had a light up marquee, if it had a more traditional arcade form factor. So they listened, they offered that product, gave people the opportunity to upgrade if you already had one, but mainly it was trying to bring in new consumers.
I agree. Now, we did have some releases, some new games released for the arcade.
We did. And you know what? I've never heard of either of these games, but Wizard of Walls, I have no idea what it is. But the second one, the one that I put on the thumbnail, let me just bring up my iArcade store, is Habroxia 2. I don't know if I said that right or not, but did you guys ever hear of Habroxia 1? I'm not familiar with it at all.
It's not a game. You'll often hear me say about shooters, they're kitchen sink shooters, right? You know, I've never been a fan of most of the shooters because it's like, how do you expect me to live in this? And I get that they were designed to take quarters, right? So they had to keep throwing shit at you. So you had to be really invested in those games to be able to last any length of time because they literally throw everything at you. But no, I'm definitely not familiar with that game.
Ooh, there's a comment here from Jamie Loken I want to bring up, and I think some other people mentioned it too. Wizard of Walls is actually a remake of Wizard of War. Awesome game. Well, I'm definitely going to have to check it out now. I didn't see it on the page when I went earlier. That's the reason why I didn't bring it up. I never got a chance to watch the event today, but when I went to recent games, only Habroxia 2 was available. So I'm going to definitely have to check out Wizard of War. And I like the look of Habroxia 2. I mean, I'm a big shmup guy. I'm not very good, but I enjoy them. So, yeah, I mean, and nostalgia, like me and you said, we want those modern games. So it's cool to see them bringing them on.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I don't know either of these games. I'm definitely interested. Actually, Wizard of Walls, I looked at the trailer, and I actually thought it was like, okay, I don't know if it's going to be amazing, but I think it's a unique looking game. I think it'll be fun. So, I mean, yeah, I'm really all about the modern stuff. I don't want to see any more of these like weird, no-name arcade titles anymore on this console or on this arcade machine. I really want to see some better titles come out, though.
Yeah, I understand. We've all been saying that for a while.
Well, Wizard is actually Wizard of WOR. But yeah, that's a well-known game back in the day where you're getting chased through this maze. And it's actually a game that I definitely played quite a bit of. You know, back in the day, it's sort of like the television of the day. You like MASH because MASH was the only thing on at 11:30 at night, right? It's not that you particularly loved MASH, but you grew to love it because you didn't have any other choice. And some of those games back in the arcades was that way because if you got somebody on the cabinet that you really wanted to play that could play like crazy off the one quarter, you never got to get onto the cabinet. So you end up playing these other games. And then also it's all about location as well. Some people, that's the only game they had near them. Back in the day before the arcades got to be these huge places, you just had games at your local party store or at the bowling alley, and so you only had a few cabinets. So I know when people come over, they ask about games that I was like, oh, I forgot about that game because it's not something I played often, but clearly I knew about it. But that's the reality of it. They love that game because they played it millions of times, or when they went to summer camp or on the beach with their parents for a vacation, they played those games. So a lot of these arcades are about the nostalgia, right? Nostalgia.
So it's about the nostalgia.
It is. Everything's about nostalgia.
It is.
But it's a nostalgic feel when they see those games, hear those sounds. For me, like a game like Pole Position, you play Pole Position, it's immediately going to take me back to a particular point in time. Go ahead, Michael B.
We got a super chat here from some guy named Console Fanboy, new to the channel. $4.99 US. I did a count. The iArcade has exactly 113 shoot 'em ups. I think if they really work hard, they can get even more because 113 shmups is not good enough. Thanks for the super chat, brother.
Hey,
I'm starting to.
If you keep this up, we might never ever leave the iArcade segment.
I don't know. I'm
No.
getting the impression that Console Fanboy actually secretly does like the iArcade.
Oh, he does.
It's like a kindergarten kid who's like crushing on a girl, but what they do is they just badmouth her all the time. Zohar, buddy, you gotta hide it a little bit better.
I have to correct it. That's a first grade level.
First grade, that's fine. I can respect that. It's just a weird hustle, buddy.
I think maybe his problem with the iArcade is that they don't do what he wants. Like if you followed his love and hate relationship with Arcade1Up over the years, it's because Arcade1Up doesn't do what he wants. So that's my impression.
That is fair.
Okay, so anything else with iArcade?
don't think there's that much left to talk about. With
No,
Arcade, is there?
it's just the 2 new games this week, and glad to have them back because this is their first event and release since New Year's. I know some people have been saying, "Where's iArcade?" So it's good they came out. They released 2 new games that I'm excited for. I did want to just very quickly go back to Zohar's comment. I did see him make a video recently where he talked about they have these games on Switch, or you can play these games on Switch. There's other ways to play these games. And I think people sometimes lose the thought process that there's different experiences you could have. Like I could play every Arcade1Up game on Switch or emulated on a PC, but playing it on an actual cabinet changes the experience. And I think that's what people playing these games that you mentioned are Switch games on the iArcade does for them. It changes the experience and makes it more fun. So I think that it's fair to say you can just play all these games on Switch, but it depends on how you want to play them.
The
Yeah,
form factor
absolutely.
matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And Nostalgia does not know what MASH is. That is for sure.
No one knows what
but yeah.
MASH is. You so dated yourself with that.
It's okay. It's on reruns. But yeah, I mean, I had my Raspberry Pi with all the games on it prior to Arcade 1Up and other people coming out with these things. But that's not how I want to play it. I was glad that I could play them, but I didn't play them because that's not how I play arcades.
Yeah. Well, let's
All right,
move on.
Yes, let's move on to Arcade.
Let's go back
1Up.
to AtGames.
Go ahead, baby. What you got?
No, I'm just joking, Carl. It's your show. You go ahead.
My show. This was
You're the boss. Nope, definitely not. I'll leave right now.
Okay, so let's move on to Arcade 1Up. And Michael B, I saw you had a video earlier today.
I did, yeah.
Come out, and you were very excited about the prospect of this. Now, is this Star Wars 1.2 or is it Star Wars 2.0? Where are we at?
I'm not going to say anything until Tech Buzz tells me which one it actually is. I got to wait. I don't believe Nostalgia, so I'm waiting on Tech Buzz.
I didn't tell you what this was.
So, yeah, this has been a rumor that's been going on before Christmas. There was a rumor that Arcade1Up was rushing to get a Star Wars re-release out to retail by November. There's a cutoff date of when things hit the shore if it'll make it to retail before Christmas. So it was by November. Where it didn't come out, we were like, oh, they missed the deadline. So now we got a bill of lading, which is a term that I have incorrectly said several times and called it a bill of landing. But a bill of lading came up in the community this past week. And let me just see if I can bring this over here. And then I'm going to share the screen and show people. Not that they haven't seen it on Facebook 1,000 times, but let me just bring this up, guys. So this is the bill of lading. You would have seen several shipments of arcade video games, Star Wars A, have reached the shores and should be out to consumers. Congestion's a little lower this time of year, so in the next couple
zoom
weeks.
in?
So let me see. There we go.
There you go.
Is that good?
Perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect.
It's like we were going into space.
So there it is, guys. That's the proof in the pudding. Star Wars is coming. But the question now is this merely a re-release, is what I posed today, or are we getting something else? Are we getting some of those new deluxe features that we saw announced at CES? Could this, in fact, be the first deluxe cabinet? We have to assume it's not an exact re-release. Some of the cool shit that Arcade1Up has come out with in the last couple of years, like 5x4 TN monitors, have to be included. So I'm assuming at least a molded coin door will be added, but I think it possibly could be a one-piece design, much like the deluxe cabs, and this may be the first deluxe cab, riserless Star Wars re-release.
So does that 32 pieces? Is that what that says there? Then that means it has to have a riser. It has that many pieces.
I don't know, Carl. I was paid to lead, not to read.
So
I don't know.
Again, you know, with Star Wars being the least played in my game room, I definitely wouldn't be interested in a re-release. I think it's fine the way it is for now, but I definitely like the XL or the deluxe cabinet style. You know, I'm definitely a fan. Every time I look at my Star Wars and the way they had that the billboard for that cabinet, they made the billboard smaller, right? And whenever I look at them, like that's the perfect spot for a coin door, right? They just put a coin door there. So clearly, with the new release, I would think that they would have the coin door on that new cabinet for sure.
Jamie Loken's got a great question. Super Game Room dudes, do you think 1UP will bring in a limited quantity and it's one and done, or are we getting Simpsons levels? I believe we are getting a limited quantity because this has already been a release cabinet. They're not sure what the demand would be, where many of the community, they did release these in pretty high quantities last time. I'm assuming it'll be limited, hard to get, and I've heard that it might be exclusive to only one retailer too. So I don't know about direct, but it might be an exclusive to another retailer. And I actually heard this week, I got a little bit of information that might not be coming to Canada.
I hope it doesn't, just so you can
I know
get one.
I'm not going to get one. We're going to talk about it in a bit, but I don't have any intention to get one. The first one was amazing. There's only one thing that would interest me in possibly picking this up.
What if it was just like marginally better?
That's it. It just has to be marginally better.
That's it. If it's just
the
even
tiniest
like
of margins.
Better, that's it. Then you're going to sell your old one. You're going to buy the new one.
Absolutely. Michael B., YouTube had put you on a rotation or auto play earlier, so you were just running back and forth in my head all day today. And every video that came on, I heard you say the same thing. I told Laura I'm not going to get another cabinet, and I got another cabinet. I wasn't getting a cabinet, but it was on sale. I couldn't help it. I bought another cabinet because they made the change that I just loved. You know what I mean? You always say you don't, but every video is living proof, and the internet doesn't die, right? So I think you are going to get this. I think you're going to get it as soon as it goes on sale. But now here, I know you don't read the stuff, you just display it, but in the center there, does that say 308 containers, cartons?
Yep, arcade game, 308 containers, item Gen Z 91 joystick awards.
So there's at least 308 we would guess from this.
I've never heard of them doing a production run that small. Like the smallest production run I've ever heard of Arcade1Up doing was Killer Instinct at 500. So I would be amazed. This might only be 308 to start, but there's no way they only did 308 units.
Yeah, I don't think that would be the case either. I think this is one that they would run a few thousand because they could sell them just like they did in the first place. And I'm willing to bet you if it's even, like I said, even marginally better, you throw a coin door in there and you get rid of the riser and you just make it kind of like a unibody style. I really think that a lot of people who currently own the Arcade1Up Star Wars are going to flip theirs on Marketplace or to the secondhand market, and they're going to buy this. So I think it would be a lost opportunity for them not to at least make a few thousand.
Yeah, funny enough, Jamie Loken, who's here in our chat, just sold his original Star Wars for $750 the other day. So good job, Jamie. Before we go any further, I was told in the chat we missed a couple super chats, Carl. So I just want to get through them pretty quickly and say thank you to the people who did that. $5 super chat from Sosa Fam Bam, $5 US. Put an Intech deck into your 1UP. Put your Switch into a 1UP. Play them like that. It's cheaper than iArcade. Sosa Fam Bam, fan of the channel, fan of Console Fanboy. Thank you very much. All right, let's go up and see if I missed anything else.
Right there.
Hey, panel, last question, I promise. Do you think the iArcade will ever change their ugly UI, or will they continue to lie about every promise ever made? They have put it. They have put it as an action item that they talk about doing. Hopefully, they do it. There's two things they really need to do. That it's been talked about. Hopefully they do it. And one is changing the UI. And number two is making the store accessible on the unit itself.
Console Fanboy is literally both the best troll and the most passive-aggressive person I've ever met. It's incredible.
Yeah.
The way he worded that question was like, it was like a real question, and then, or are they just going to lie about everything they've ever said? Amazing.
Yeah, and we can all admit the UI on the iArcade as well as the AtGames needs some huge improvements. You know. And there are solutions out there for years, right? To model it from. So it's really no excuse not to have it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, if there's one thing Arcade1Up does, their UI is always like banging. Like, that's one thing they really put a lot of time and emphasis into, and it changes every single unit they put out. But yet we have these two evergreen products, the iArcade and the AtGames Legends Ultimate, that's one and done. And honestly, these machines should have the best UI, because people are going to keep coming back, people are going to keep buying stuff. But yet that seems to be something that's missed over and over and over again with these complex, less than attractive designs they have up there.
There are ways that you can make a complex system have a super smooth, beautiful ecosystem of a UI. That when you think about it, look at every streaming platform that has ever existed. Netflix. There's literally thousands, tens of thousands, whatever number of thousands of videos and movies, but it's streamlined, it's clean, and you can access everything through menus and whatever. But I think that's a big miss for iArcade and AtGames, is the UI design. Just, it feels like it's a product from 10 years ago. Like, it's, if that's when it was released, maybe the style would be okay. But now, like, things are just, you can make things so clean, and they choose not to. Or maybe they're working on it, but they haven't released it. So that's, like, not good.
I also don't know. Like, we don't know. Like, with AtGames, I can't give you an answer. But iArcade, I think it's a pretty small shop. And I think, honestly, Michael Zrebeck does pretty much everything. And the poor guy is doing everything from making games himself, recoding them, to maybe get some more help, guys. Some external help on the UI.
Probably licensing maybe as well. So, yeah. And again, it goes back to the same statement I made about AtGames earlier. When you have to decide where the best to put your resources in, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, it doesn't look the best, but I'm still producing games for you. You still get to play them, get to sound incredible. So I think eventually they will get it, but they have to set their priorities with the limited staff that they have. Not an excuse for it, but it's the reality of it.
Super chat. This is interesting. Zero Redux makes a great point. You should read it. So now I gotta go look for Zero Redux's point. Thank you, Zohar.
And just want to say hello to friend of the channel, 19K Fox.
He's more of an acquaintance.
Well, Nostalgia, I mean, here's a proposition. You can do this for iArcade on the site.
I've got an hourly rate, but if iArcade wants to reach out to me, I'm more than happy to point them in the right direction. I've done a couple UI projects. I know how to make things look somewhat pretty. So,
anyways, I can't find Zero Redux's comment. If somebody else wants to take a look for it,
it's probably a troll. There wasn't a comment from Zero Redux, and he's just making you go through to try to find it.
Next time I see him, he's getting a Nelson Muntz. Thanks for wasting my valuable time. So anyways, guys, what are we talking about now? Arcade1Up? The Star Wars re-release is coming. I think we should hear something from Arcade1Up within the next week or so. Maybe we'll get a That One Up show, or maybe they'll have somebody from the community announce it, or maybe it'll just show up on the Sears website for you to order direct. I don't know, but I'm guessing we'll see something from Arcade1Up in the next little while, and there we go.
You still have you still have Sears on your island there?
No, Sears is closed down now, but I think they still have an online.
I thought maybe they got trapped on the island and couldn't leave.
$5 super chat from 19K Fox. Mike knows we're best friends. Of course, I did just pay to say this, so I'm very jealous of Fox tonight. Fox is out playing pinball at an arcade, and we don't have that on my little island, so I can't do that. Life sucks. Drink Pepsi. It's terrible. Just when you think it's going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy, it's actually difficult lemon difficult. $1.99 US. No, it's there. Please find it, Michael. Please, somebody find Zero Redux's comment for Zohar.
Now, why didn't Zohar just copy it into his chat?
Mike, you are a troll trap, buddy.
Nostalgia, do something with your life and find that comment, will you?
I'm not going to dig through the comments to try to find a non-existent comment or a potentially non-existent comment.
So Michael, now that we're done with the possibly non-existent Star Wars cabinet,
It's not non-existent. It's in the ports. It's happening.
No.
You'll see it next week.
Pictures or it didn't happen, buddy.
right?
Listen, guys, I'm telling you right now, at Shaq's Funhouse, you'll see Shaq announce the new Star Wars Deluxe cabinet.
So, Michael, I'm really excited. I know you're going to do a review sooner than later on this new cabinet that you got. This KI Pro. What's your initial thoughts on this thing? I mean, there's been a lot of bad press out there about the joysticks, about the marquee, about maybe some sound issues. What are you finding?
So I haven't had the same experience that other people have. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that, again, I'm so removed from the real arcade experience. I don't have the same expectations really. Like, I do agree with people that I think if you release a pro cab, you should have pro or competition level controllers. So the information that's coming out right now about them using the HAP Ultimates isn't great, but I'm not having the same experience that other people are having where I'm jumping diagonally and, ducking. I am experiencing some missed inputs, but I can't qualify whether or not that's on me or, getting used to these controls or whether it's the controls themselves. I really like the controls. Carl, me and you played the other night. We had a bunch of fun. I know you're going to brag to everybody about how you beat the shit out of me, but I was having some Wi-Fi issues initially as well. And,
Michael, I'm sorry. I apologize for cutting you off. I didn't just hear what your last statement was. Can you repeat that? My internet kind of fussed out.
Oh, you want me to say again how you beat the shit out of me in Killer Instinct?
Oh, is that what you said? Oh, I didn't know you said that. Oh, continue.
Carl beat me like 6 games to 1. I tell you, you got to watch out with Carl because while you're trying to do combos, he's coming at you with his claws and the Wolfman. It's like when I play Street Fighter, I hate playing certain people. Like I hate fighting Blanca. Like I hate it because you're there and you're like, I'm going to do a Hadouken. And the other guy's just too busy going, blah, blah. That's like Carl with the wolf.
I'm hungry.
So anyways, I had fun playing with other people the other night, and I didn't have as much fun playing with Carl, but I will get good enough to beat him.
Someday, Mike. You just got to keep practicing.
So, Council Fanboy says, Michael B, it's in your messenger. I spent $60.
That's a fair point. If you spent $60, you should read the
100%.
damn comment, Mike.
All right,
Because it's very important to him.
That's fair. I just couldn't find it.
Make sure we're not going to have our account shut down because of it being like ridiculously bad. But
while he's
or it's going to be super lackluster and it's just going to be a letdown.
So while he's finding that, I did want to say last weekend they had some KI tournaments, and UAG did the KI1 and Moat did the KI2 Saturday and Sunday last week. The winners got these really nice belts and some prize monies, and that was a lot of fun. I got my butt whooped on both tournaments. I think I won maybe one game out of like 5 games or 3 games or whatever it was for those different levels. Even in the loser bracket, I ended up losing, but I had a lot of fun. They went on for a time for it to happen. You have to zoom in on that. Or no, don't show anything else that was supposed to be so.
I hate
you can do it.
It's Facebook. You can't zoom in properly. It does this.
Why don't you just copy and paste it into like our private chat, and then we can read it.
Just deal with it as it is. I mean, get glasses,
make it
guys.
full screen if you can.
This is full screen.
That's as full screen as we can go, I guess.
In my opinion, Console Fanboy does a great service for the entire community. His satire, harangues.
Keep going.
Harangues gives the media aspect of the hobby a little depth. Otherwise, it's largely reviews, regurgitated news, and discussion. So that's a very nice comment from Console Fanboy's 56th YouTube account that he uses to comment on shows, Zero Redux.
Console kids spent $60 to
Console
plug himself.
fanboy. Console
Sorry,
fanboy.
Console fanboy spent $60 to plug himself. Good job. That's okay. Or not. Whatever. All right.
Well, I must say,
Can-
if it
can
wasn't
we
for
move
console
on?
fanboys, I wouldn't know that I'm 58 years old. 58 years old. See, I wouldn't know. So you don't know because you haven't watched this latest video. So
Yeah, I got to tell you, that's one of probably my least favorite things currently happening in the home arcade retro game community space right now is the constant bickering between people on what device they like and like what YouTubers cover. Man, I wish people would just relax. Like, let people like what they like. I don't understand why there's got to be this constant back and forth. If you like the iArcade, cool. You don't need to prove that it's a superior device to something else. If you like AtGames and the sauce and stuff, you don't need to prove that it's a superior device to something else. If you like Arcade1Up, you don't need to prove that it's superior to the other brands. I mean, Jesus Christ.
right, and definitely in this crowd, all of us are well aware of all these products. You know, I mean, you're not influencing any of us on whether we're gonna like or dislike any of these products. So it's really a waste of time.
Yeah, like what you like, do what you do, be young, have fun, drink Pepsi.
This is a perfect segue, Mike.
Oh,
we were
yeah,
having an it wasn't an argument, it was a conversation. We were talking last night. And I asked Mike.
Oh, let's preface this. So after me and Nostalgia finished coitus last night, we were in the bed talking.
Okay. And anyways, so I asked Mike if you were stuck on an island and you had one console, one home console. I'll say home console. Let's remove arcade from the equation. One home console with one game. What would you pick? And the reason I asked that is because we were talking about Atari. We were talking about the iircade Atari, weren't we?
Yeah.
That's what it was. We're talking
Yeah.
about the iircade Atari. And there's a lot of people who are super excited about it. And from my perspective, I don't think it's that great, but I can understand why it's got nostalgia for lots of people. And I was trying to suggest to Mike that I don't think anybody, if they had a choice of like, you're only able to play one console and one game for the rest of your life, that like less than 2% of the population, of the gaming population, less than 1% of the gaming population would ever pick something before the Nintendo console.
No, that's not what you said.
What do you mean? What did I say?
Your argument was less than 1% of people would pick something before the Super Nintendo, and typically people would trend towards more modern consoles because the games just look better.
No, I did not. You were
That's what you
clearly
said.
misunderstanding. No, what I said was people would pick NES, SNES, N64, PS1, or Sega Genesis way before they would pick an Atari 2600.
Yes, and my argument was it doesn't really
Those
matter
are not
about
modern
what you
consoles, bro.
It doesn't really matter about what you think. It all depends on the person's nostalgia, what they like. There are people out there that actually prefer the Atari 2600 or the other Atari systems. There's people out there that prefer the ColecoVision. They would take their ColecoVision with them before they would take any other system.
But I don't know if that's true. Oh, we got some exciting stuff here. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. There he is. Maybe P-Dubs can chime in on this. P-Dubs,
What's up?
if you were stuck on an island in a world where you only had one video game console, any console that you want can span the entire generation of all video game consoles that have ever been released with one title, and that will be the only game you will ever be able to play ever again. Until you die, what would you pick?
And that dude, that's too hard of a question.
No, you got to do it. Okay, fine. Give me a console then. Just
No,
sum it down to a
nostalgia.
specific console.
Nostalgia.
Yeah.
Let's go easy on him. He's sick. He just got here.
Yeah.
All right, Dubs.
Sega.
Dub.
Well, I mean, for me, it would be the Sega Genesis. I was a Sega kid growing up. So, although my first console was the NES, and I have a lot of love for the original 8-bit Nintendo, just the original Sega Genesis and those games were probably my favorites that I spent probably more time on growing up, and then constantly doing like Sega CD, 32X, building the whole tower. Like we all did that, you know what I mean? And, I skipped the Saturn. I had the Dreamcast. After Dreamcast kind of went away, I switched to Sony PlayStation. I was a big fan of PlayStation 1 and 2, but then I switched to Xbox. I became a huge Xbox player, so I was doing Xbox 360, Xbox One. Now I have, so I never had a PlayStation 3, never had a PlayStation 4. Now I have a PlayStation 5. So, and I have an Xbox Series X. So, but yeah, that's kind of my history with all those consoles. But yeah, Sega probably. If I was stuck on an island, I would want to have the Sega console and a whole bunch of games for it.
Okay, really quickly, we've got a $4.99 super chat. Tonight's episode of Super Game Room Dudes brought to you by the proud sponsor, Console Fanboy and Manscaped. Thank you very much to both. Thank you, Goofyfoot, for the super chat. We got another one here very quickly from Andrew's Clay Creations and More. She Lion's latest video, Arcade Legends, is exactly the kind of great, fresh new content that this community needed. All right, Andrew's Clay Creations, thank you for the super chat. And guys, go check out She Lion. She's all right.
So I want to get back to what I was trying to suggest, Mike. I appreciate your perspective. And I didn't say that there was nobody who would pick the Atari. I said like 1%, maybe 2% of people would pick those consoles. And I certainly respect what Atari has done for the gaming industry. But I think when you compare gameplay, mechanics, graphics, the actual titles, and the IP that come along with the console against anything else, it just doesn't stack up. It doesn't.
It's okay. Up. It's okay. You can continue to be an ignorant millennial. That's fine.
So let me understand here. So, Michael, are you saying that you would pick the Atari 2600? Is that
no, he's not. No. Which is why.
God, no.
Which is why I'm so confused by his perspective.
Because I'm saying you're narrow-minded.
No, I'm not.
You're super narrow-minded. You're like, nobody will pick the 2600. Then several people in the chat was like, yeah, I picked the 2600. And you're like, well, they got to be the 2% then. That's a narrow-minded opinion.
2% is not nobody.
Carl, how old are you?
I'm 56 years. I'm 56 years old!
What system would you pick?
That's a difficult thing. A lot of my path similar to P-Dubs there. Brother, I hope you get well soon, man.
I'm okay. I took like a 3-hour nap and I woke up and I was feeling better, so I figured I'd hop on, say hi to you guys, see how you're doing. Say hi to what's up, chat? What's up, everyone in the live chat? I'm sure I missed all the good conversations.
Yeah, no, I don't know about which one I would pick, because that's a very difficult thing. I would say if I had to pick something, it would have to be whatever console that would have Madden football. If I was stuck with just playing one game, it would have to be Madden, or I wouldn't mind the Dreamcast with the I think it was NFL 2000 or 2001,
NFL 2K.
It was.
NFL 2K.
Yeah, 2K, NFL 2. Yeah, because by far that was the best football game. They were so good that Madden had to go get a license and say nobody else can need to use an NFL person's name anymore. And because they were like $10 when Madden was like $50, if they hadn't done that, we would have a whole different history for the football era. So I think I would go with the Dreamcast with the NFL 2K. And can I also get the boxing game? What was that game called?
Ready to Rumble?
Ready to Rumble, baby. Those two games there, that just floated in off the ocean, and I'm glad it did.
Oh, you made Nostalgia a happy guy. You're saying Dreamcast.
I do like Dreamcast. Now, to be fair, when Mike, you and I were talking yesterday, I wasn't talking about consoles in general and being able to have access to the entire library. I said one game, and I said if you're going to pick the one game you'll play for the rest of your life, almost nobody's picking an Atari 2600 game. That's what I said.
What an ignorant comment from an ignorant millennial.
Mike, you are just sourpuss today, buddy.
I am not sourpuss. I'm telling you right now, you have a narrow perspective on the world based on your age and the generation you grew up in.
Yeah, I don't know. But I just don't think many people would disagree with that statement.
I mean, I have to say, I grew up with Atari was the only thing you can play at home, right? and I played tons of it. But I've had zero interest in going to play Astro Blast or any of those games. That's like even like in television.
All
Nostalgia,
right.
you probably don't know what Intellivision is, but Intellivision had the best basketball game as far as functioning because you can go diagonally and things like that. But there's no way I would go back and play that basketball game with the stick figures.
If I was stuck on an island with an Atari 2600, I would probably burn it to keep warm.
That's
at
what I'm
night.
saying, Mike. I hate to be right. I don't actually hate to be
sorry.
right. I love being right.
I mean, I missed the Atari thing. I was the NES was my first console, so I missed out. And like I've mentioned this before. Anytime I went to a buddy's house who had the Atari growing up, I was like, it was such a downgrade from from the Nintendo. You were like, why are we playing this? Let's turn on the Nintendo. Like, why are we playing this piece of shit with these shitty looking games? Like
I remember.
But that's just how I grew up. I
remember going.
People, yeah, go.
I remember going over to a friend's house and he's like, "Do you want to play Double Dragon?" And I was like, "Sure." He had Atari Double Dragon. I was like, "I'm never coming back."
How can you argue? I wish I had my Game Genie Tears mug right now and just sipping the Game Genie Tears because
I'm arguing because your point is such a narrow-minded one.
It's not.
You
totally can't tell me that the mass majority of people wouldn't pick something even just a little bit more modern than an Atari 2600.
You're ageist. That's what it is. You're ageist.
Sure, whatever. You call me whatever you want. That doesn't mean I'm wrong.
You guys don't want to do the ski? You don't want to ski down the mountain on Atari? Come on.
Listen, I'm doubling down on this shit. All right, one game. I'm going to an island with Plaque Attack on the 2600. I'll see you there.
All right. So, what topics did you not get to tonight that I missed?
We got to
or
all.
Did you? You got to all of them?
We managed to get through them all. Yeah.
All right. Should we just start the show over?
Reset.
Yeah. We'll take two. We'll do it the right way.
I think so.
If you're going to be leading the ship, will it be the right way though, or will it be the P-Dubs way?
It'll be the right way. There is no other way. All right, guys, hang tight. All right. Hey, where'd he go? What are you doing, Mike?
He's mad.
I'm not doing this bullshit over. I'm done.
He's mad because he realizes that ain't nobody picking an Atari 2600 game, Mike. Ain't nobody doing it.
Yeah. So, what else is going on in the world?
Have you guys seen the Tekken Blood? What's it called? Tekken Bloodline on the Netflix. It's a little anime. It's a one season. I think it's 10 episodes. Look like I'm breaking up. It's definitely interesting and worth a watch. Tekken Bloodline, I believe.
What is that on? Is it a streaming service?
On Netflix. On
Tekken?
Netflix.
Anyone see Tekken? Let us know in the live chat. I have not seen that. When did that come out?
I don't know. It must be this year. My daughter.
I saw the on Netflix had the Castlevania. That was really good. Did you guys see the
really good.
The Castlevania show on Netflix? Yeah, that was.
Is that anime or a movie?
It's anime.
Yeah, animated.
So, first two seasons were great. Third season seemed like they were just, get to the mountain already, Frodo. It seemed like padding. And then the last season was great.
I still remember.
Mike. Just want to, just so that way.
That's a great comment. Yeah.
I don't think anyone would disagree that 98% of the population is not picking an Atari title. It's just not going to happen.
You're an ignorant
Maybe a Tandy?
Mike, I already told you, I'm going to go and take a poll. And I'm going to submit it to Stats Canada. It'll be official. And then you can't argue with me. I will create the stats.
Defend
my own argument.
Yeah, but here's how Restalgia actually works. Restalgia's like, yo, man, I'm going to get an official poll. I polled 100,000 people that were aged 30 to 25, and they all said the Atari 2600 was the shits.
I actually polled 13 to 18. None of them have ever even heard of Atari. That's what
You
happened.
definitely seem like the kind of guy that would work for a company and you'd be like, "This is my idea. I'll go get market research," and then you would
I'll
totally skew the results.
doctor the data. Yeah,
You are
yeah,
such
that
I'll,
a
seems
I'll
piece
tell
of
you.
reasonable.
shit.
I'll tell you when I went to pick up my I'm sorry, my Miss Pac-Man countercade from Walmart. I ordered online. They had those little lockers, but I guess it couldn't fit in the locker, so they had it in the back. So the girl comes out and brings it, and she says, "Here's your Miss Pac-Man cabinet." I said, "Do you even know what Miss Pac-Man is?" She was like, "No, I have no idea what Miss Pac-Man is." So if something that popular, the young folk don't know, there's no way they're gonna know what the heck Atari 1600 is or 2600 is.
Yeah, Miss Pac-Man. I kind of like the look of that deluxe class of 81 from Arcade1Up, though. I like the way it looks. So we'll see. We'll see. But appearances aren't everything.
No, I mean, for your perspective, you already have the Class of 81 cabinet. There literally is. You don't have Class of 81? You sold it?
I sold it last week. Remember, I told you.
Mm-hmm. Mike, you don't pay attention. You got to start paying attention to your friends.
Yep. I got way too much spillover happening in way too many rooms. So unfortunately, I'm going to be sacrificing a lot of my collection because I just have way too much shit. And that's what you got to do. You got to be an adult. You can't have all this shit in 10 rooms in the house. You know?
Is that a shot at me? I'm 42.
No.
I'm 42.
No, it's more like I looked around and I was like, okay, machines in my office, okay, machines in the loft, okay, and the garage, okay, right? Like these are my areas, right? But the fact that I got stuff in the downstairs living room, downstairs family room, you know what I mean? Like stuff spilling over in the loft hallways, the hallways of the loft, not just the loft, all the hallways leading to all the separate sides of the house. It's too much stuff. So I gotta get rid of stuff. It's way too cluttered in here. You know what I mean? I'm tired of bumping into shit. You know? No, it had nothing to do with my wife, Tech Buzz, because Dick runs my house. I don't know about other people's houses, but had nothing to do with that. It's just I have too much shit. So
Yeah, and
That's
the
gonna
reality
be the
That's
gonna be
the
the headline.
soundbite of the year.
Yeah, headline on Us Weekly this week. Dick runs this house.
sorry, some people Dick don't run their house or whatever. It's not how it works here.
No, guys, the reality is talk about these games and the quality game. The games are the same pretty much. It's arcade is simply a box, right, with a screen, some type of processor, and some controls. So the games are what they are. What cabinet they fit in, that's all about preference. People talk about having the real cabinets. If you want that big giant thing, people say it's too big, too heavy, yada yada yada. You could talk about the arcades, and these cabinets are too small, too light. You know what I mean? But the games, for the most part, are the same, whether you talk about emulation or it's original ROM, all that stuff. For most people, none of that stuff matters. It's about playing a game. So it really comes down to what you want in your space, whether a big one or a small one or somewhere in between. We just got to enjoy these things. And like you said, P-Dubs, there's no way you're going to play all these cabinets. None of us can play all these cabinets, but we enjoy the look and the feel and the sounds. But at some point in time, like you said, I can't go beyond this little space here. So I'm kind of restrained with what I can put in here. But it is what it is.
Yeah, man. No, I agree with you, Carl. I agree with you. Like, what's funny about this hobby is I'm sure a lot of us, not just myself, have just accumulated so much stuff over the last 4 or 5 years that...
Not me. My house is nice and tidy.
But I said some of us. I didn't say all of us. So, at some point you have to look around and go, I really need to get rid of some stuff. You know what I mean? So, it's just what happens, man. Nature of the beast.
I was being sarcastic. P-Dub's literally behind me is a wall full of boxes.
Yeah, I know. We were making fun of you about that the other day.
It's just I'm just so lazy. I also really like keeping my stuff sealed in box. All that stuff, except for 1 or 2 things, sealed in box. Yeah. Too legit to quit, bro.
By the way,
it's funny you talk about boxes. Before Arcade came out, Arcade1Up came out with all these cabinets. I literally this one wall where my TV is was like all the empty boxes from like everything I ever bought. You know,
Yeah.
that was on display in my man cave, which is crazy to think of. So it's definitely come a long way from a pile of boxes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, my
I
arcade
love the look inside.
My
What I
arcade
would-
downstairs used to be a storage room too, so like that changed quickly when I needed room to store something else.
What my favorite things that I see from Carl is when he sneaks cabinets and products into the basement, and then Mrs. Detroit Love finds out about it later. Those are always the best stories. What? That's been here. It's been here this
Yeah,
whole
what
time.
you
It's
talking
been here. What are you talking
This
about,
whole
baby?
thing.
This
Look
whole
at the dust
thing.
on this. Look at the dust on this.
That dust is a week old, Carl.
Yeah, it's funny
This
because
whole
it's
thing.
no. It's funny because she saw the video of the NFL Blitz coming because I had ordered a second one, you know, because I wasn't sure about how the sounds would handle the refund. She literally saw it because our daughter went and dragged it from in front of the garage up onto the front porch, right? And then my neighbor came and dragged it off the porch over to his house and put it on the dolly and took his house. So she saw all this on the camera, but it didn't even register that what's in this box or what is an arcade. You know, it's just
The
crazy.
doorbell
that she
camera.
didn't. And then the KI, yes, the KI Pro came, and I was at work, and they came, and they delivered it, and they put it in the same spot in front of the garage, and she never saw any of that, you know, until she came down here, and it was half assembled. Like, and it's funny because I was talking to my buddy, he had called just as she came down, and she's got her hands on the hips, like, what is this, you know? And I'm like, Damon, I'm gonna have to prolong this conversation because my wife is standing in front of me with her hands on the hip. And then we talked for like 5 minutes. And then I said, okay, I'm going to let you go because she's still not leaving.
Is that Damon who we met in Chicago? Damon?
Oh, no, not
A different Damon? Okay. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
If you guys want to check out Damon, who we met in Chicago, watch 19K Fox's pinball stream from when we were there, and you will get a 7-minute tour of Damon's arcade in his house. So check out 19K Fox's Galloping Ghost pinball tour to get a 7-minute tour of Damon's arcade.
Yeah. Good idea, Wayne. Nobody clipped this show for my wife. I don't want her to watch this episode. That would be great. So
let's catch up on the last 15 minutes. Dick runs this house. Please don't clip this show. My wife shouldn't see this.
you know, we do things to entertain the community, man. I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, you know, it's all for your viewing pleasure.
Isn't that the no, this is going way back because Nostalgia wouldn't be able to relate to this when they had those little kindergarten books like see Dick run.
Yeah.
Do you remember those?
I do.
Books?
I just got out of reading those little books like a couple weeks ago. Now I'm starting to go into picture books.
Yeah, Nostalgia actually has his wife read him those books late at night when Nostalgia's getting tucked in for the night.
No, Nostalgia's doing good. He's learning to read pretty quickly with his new Skillshare partnership. I think Nostalgia's going to be...
Oh, man.
That Skillshare partnership is going to be incredible. I'm going to learn so many things, Mike.
So do you guys, how many of you have dogs? Do you have dogs? Who's got dogs? Mike's got dogs.
I
Nostalgia,
got
you have
dogs.
dogs.
Two
Okay.
dogs.
And with the amount of deliveries we get with all the crap we buy, do your dogs, are they like pretty calm when people come to the door, or do they go nuts every time like Amazon, UPS, all these guys show up?
They're usually good until somebody bangs on the door. So if like a delivery person comes, when we ever at UPS and FedEx, they come in, they're like bang, bang, bang. And then the dogs lose their shit. But if it's just like the mail person or something, they don't care.
Yeah. So let us know in the live chat, guys. Do your dogs go nuts when the delivery people come to the door? So I have 3 big dogs. I have a pit bull, I have a husky, and I have a German Shepherd mutt. So I have 3 dogs that, you know, they're very protective and they probably need a little more training, but still, they hate it when people come to the door, right? And sure enough, as you can imagine, with the amount of stuff that I get delivered, I think we showed one clip last year. Where you guys remember the clip where the FedEx guy was dropping a package off at my door? And the what I love about the Ring cameras and all that stuff is it captures the guys at your door. You guys remember the clip where he was putting the package down and all of a sudden my dogs hit the door on the inside, and it scared the crap out of the guy. And he's all like, you can't get me. Like he started talking shit to my dogs through the door. Do you guys remember that clip?
No, I don't remember it, but it sounds
I have like 6 or 7 more great clips that I've managed to save. So I'm going to put those together and we'll play them. They're absolutely hilarious. My dogs. Yeah, I don't have the clip from last year. I would have to dig and find it. But I'm going to pull the clips off my cell phone and maybe we'll show those next week or something. Just the delivery men getting scared for because dude, especially the one that's a German Shepherd mix. He's got that big bark. You know what I mean? The other two, like the Husky and the Pit Bull, their barks really aren't scary. They're just loud. But like my German Shepherd, Robin, he's named Robin because he's my sidekick. He has got that big, deep, throaty, scary bark. You know what I mean? Like if you hear this bark, it makes you go like, "What was that?" Like, you know what I mean? Like that's a loud dog. He's the one that scares the shit out of him the most. So yeah. So I just was thinking about it. Figured I'd share it with you guys since we're just sitting here shooting the breeze. Sorry, Mike. I know you want to cancel the show.
No. I'm good right now. I don't want to cancel the show anymore. I just didn't want to do it all over again.
Mike, be honest. You just sent me a message saying we need to cancel the show.
Love these comments here. Jason, his German Shepherd freaks out. Where is it? My Basset Hound will wake the dead. Oh yeah, Basset Hound with that. They have is it called a bay? What is the name of that? Like what's the name of that sound that the hounds make? Like beagles and stuff. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like what is it's? I forget the word.
I didn't know that there was a name for it, but
moo.
Moo.
They made
That's the sound your mother made last night.
I feel like I know that.
Hold on, Danny. If you weren't an hour late to the show, you could have listened to the Arcade1Up news. You just got here right after I did, buddy. You missed it. Sorry, bud.
So,
and also, it's January, guys. There's no effing news. What are you guys expecting? There's nothing to talk about. There's no news. They did CES. CES got beaten to death. Nobody cares about it anymore. When's MVC2 Online going to be released? That's it. That's Arcade1Up.
There's a Star Wars re-release. Did you not read the news?
Oh my God. And we all knew that was happening. What, 300 cabinets arrived? It's a 5-minute conversation. Cabs are here. They'll be up for pre-order soon. What other news is there from Arcade1Up?
Peters, we had a
news. People wanted to talk about it.
We had a full 1-hour show,
yeah,
all about the news and Michael B being wrong before you came.
Oh no! There you go, Quarter Cake. Catch the replay. Catch the replay.
Well, me and Carl also talked about. We didn't really get a chance to get into it. We lost track of it, but we both had the Killer Instinct Pro Cab, and despite like a lot of negativity towards a lot of things that may be true, but me and Carl both really like the cab.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I know people had some sound issues. I did not experience. I don't have any sound issues. And you know, this speaker has the port in it. You know, the hollow tube, which is unique for arcade cabinet, Arcade1Up cabinet to date, as far as I'm aware. And I actually opened mine up, which that breaks the seal. I had to seal it back up. So I don't know if people who experienced it were curious and they went and broke that seal and then didn't reseal it back. And is that why they have an issue? I don't know. But it's an Arcade1Up product. So the chances that some cabinets out there is going to have some problems, that's always a possibility, right?
Yeah.
My stool has a rip that was there from the time it came out the box. So, you know what I mean? But that doesn't stop the cabinet from being fun, right? But so I always expect, and I hadn't had a problem with every Arcade1Up cabinet that I've had, but I've had my share. You know what I mean? My temp is back there still waiting on the PCB board. So,
did you have the encoder board go out on your Tempest too? Oh God,
yep. It's no controls. It comes on, powers up.
I must have.
I see a lot of people selling it, so they got it replaced, and now they're trying to get rid of it before it goes bad again.
So that Atari Tempest Legacy cabinet from Arcade1Up, I think I have like the golden goose out of that one, like, or the unicorn, because I've never had the encoder board fail yet on that cabinet, and it's happened to everybody. But I always look at it like it's a ticking time bomb, Mike. Like, is today the day? Will I turn it on and it not work? You know what I mean? These, because apparently this has happened to many people.
Yeah, it has
multiple
but how
times.
do you know unless you go and play it? Like we turn our
Yeah.
cabinets on, but we don't always go and play that cabinet, right? So I didn't know for a while because until I went to actually go play it, it's like, hey, there's no controls.
So really quickly, Cornercade's Biggie D, let's do a Tuesday night show. I'm sorry, guys, but you may not know this, but B-Kong streams Tuesday night. You might not have known that because B-Kong streams every night.
Well, they could do a show. Not everyone watches.
Well, apparently they can't do a show unless either you or TechBuzz hosts it, because they're the only two people that can host YouTube shows, according to Biggie D.
Okay, I don't know where that came from, but Biggie D, thanks for the compliment.
But yeah, the KI, man, I definitely been enjoying it. I hadn't had any issues, and even with the joystick issues, there's definitely an issue with lost inputs. But even with I have the ILs in there, and so there's some lost inputs as well. So maybe it's not on necessarily just the joysticks. But I would say there's less lost inputs on ILs than the stock HAPs. But I still experience it.
Actually, it's interesting because Console Kits actually got some feedback from somebody saying that the input stuff with the KI stick on the Ultimates is actually more accurate to the real arcade, and that the IL sticks actually allow people to cheat. They don't have to do the direct inputs. I'm only repeating what Console Kits told me. That's a conversation when Console Kits comes back from his break, or if anybody is close with him, you can have that with him. But that's some information he got. I can't confirm. I've never played a real KI arcade machine, so
neither have I. And I can say this without hesitation. I suck just as bad with the upgraded sticks than I did with the stock HAPs. So if you suck, you're still going to suck if you pay for the upgrade, to buy the new sticks. But I'm enjoying the cabinet. I would enjoy the cabinet without the upgraded sticks. But they feel really nice compared to any other Arcade1Up cabinet. So to say they're not upgraded would be false, because they clearly are upgraded. Do they have some issues to certain people? But there's people who've changed every controls joysticks on every cabinet they got. So you're always going to have people like that. But it's a tons of fun. Like I said, I played in the tournaments last weekend and had a ball. So again, we can nitpick all of these things, but at least hopefully you are enjoying these cabinets that you spend all this money on.
No, Carl, that's but Blam says he put the IL sticks in it and it made his cabinet great. So maybe you still have the stock sticks, Carl, is what you're saying?
Yeah, so I only changed out the player 1 with the ILs, and I still have the stock on player 2. So I still play with both of them.
So Reset Rudy, Reset Rudy says everyone's cheating on that cabinet except Michael B, or maybe Michael B's just not good at Killer Instinct.
Well, I just said I suck, and I beat Michael, 6 out of 5 out
he
of
did.
6.
He killed me.
So, again, I can't do any of those fancy moves or combos, any of that stuff yet. I can do some of the little like launching moves, but I can just be wild and crazy and mash the buttons. So that's the same way I do on all that fighting games. So that doesn't mean I won't. I can't win. I can't win against some great players, but I can win sometimes, and that's all I'm going to care about. I'm not planning to be the greatest fighter in any of these cabinets, Big Blue or Street Fighter or any of those things. I get on there, play with some buddies or play with some strangers and have fun, and I turn it off. So it's worth it to me. I love the height of it. I mean, it looks fantastic in the room. I can't wait to get another cabinet that's similar, but I have no idea what that would be.
Yeah, I would. I have a theory, and let me know if you guys think this theory is correct. But when you play Michael B online, you notice how Michael B is streaming right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You notice how Michael B's internet looks really good and is functioning really well.
No stutters.
Yeah, when you play Michael B online on an arcade machine for some reason his internet is literally it's a Windows 95 America Online
Dial-up modem.
56K modem experience, and he takes advantage of the lag to win matches. That's how he beat me in Street Fighter.
That's how he beat me in NFL Blitz.
Oh, that's how I beat you in Street Fighter.
It's all coming together. All the pieces of the puzzle are
What are we all
Mike.
talking
You can
about?
go back and watch. There was a crystal clear
cheated.
connection. I didn't cheat. I just used the
Cheated.
slaps.
You brought your shitty internet to the competition. Next time we play,
Now-
Mike, I want you to bring the good internet to the competition.
To be fair, I did play against She Lion a little while ago in MK1, and I did beat the shit out of her in that, and that was because of my internet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She poor She Lion. She didn't know how to play like I play online with my shitty internet because
Yeah.
I can predict the next move.
Here's Mike playing Mortal Kombat 1 online against people. Slide, wait for internet glitch. 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 Maybe I'll throw an uppercut. Slide, wait for internet glitch.
P-Dubs doesn't like
Slide.
playing. P-Dubs likes playing Mortal Kombat 1 against me, not the other Mortal Kombats. Mortal Kombat 3 was a traumatic experience for him because I ripped him in half.
Oh, when we played Ultimate MK3,
Yeah.
you beat me. Yeah, you beat me one match.
No, I beat you several matches and also
you
ripped you in
didn't.
half. Fatality.
Let's go turn this shit on right now.
Fatality. Man,
take
you
you
were
right
testy
now,
tonight.
Mike.
You were so
We'll-
testy.
We'll take you.
I want to play those Bears on NFL Blitz with you, P-Dubs.
Oh yeah. 19K Fox played the Bears today on his NFL Blitz cabinet, and he beat him and sent me a screenshot of it. He's like, "Sorry, P-Dubs." I'm like, "Whatever. We got the #1 pick in the draft. We'll see." I'm hoping they grab that. What's his name? Alabama quarterback. What is that? Brady Young, whatever his name is. Ooh, man. I understand Justin Fields, whatever. I don't give a shit. I'd rather have Young over Fields, man. Young is a stud. So we'll see.
That's the thing about the NFL. You know,
Hopefully
you
the Bears will pick him.
Sometimes you only get one opportunity. If you can't stay, so hopefully the guy can stay fit.
Yeah.
Now, what do you guys are you guys looking for any particular wins this weekend with the super wild NFL playoff weekend? Any matchups you guys are looking forward to? I'm excited for the one out west with the San Francisco 49ers and Seahawks. Seattle.
So my Packers are out. I want anarchy right now. I want to see the most bizarre Super Bowl possible with like teams that shouldn't be there. So I want to see Cincinnati getting back there, and I want to see Buffalo and just any team that's never won a Super Bowl before. Mainly Buffalo because I'm Canadian. That's our de facto team. But I just want to see craziness, chaos.
What's the Bills quarterback name again?
Allen.
Yeah.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
I like the way he plays, right? And honestly, I would like to see the Bills go all the way. I really would. I think that would be really great. So I'm hoping the Bills go all the way this year. So
did you start watching football around the same time I did, of that constant, absolute, terrible period where the Bills made it to 4 straight Super Bowls in a row and lost every one?
Yeah, that happened. Yeah, that happened. Back in the 90s when we were like
80s, 90s, yeah,
80s, 90s, and when we were kids and discovering football and all that, and seeing them go every year, and you're like, maybe this will be the year they win, and they never won it. Oh my God, I remember the one time too. Who was it? Was it a Bills player or was it a Cowboys player? Which player was it? Was like racing towards the end zone and thought they were going to score, and they had the ball kind of behind them.
Oh,
and it got stripped from behind before he scored the touchdown. It's like on some of like the biggest boneheaded football plays of all time reels out there. God, man, the Bills Cowboys games when we were growing up, those were fantastic games back then. So, but yeah, I would like to see Buffalo go all the way. That's who I'm hoping wins. I know you all have your favorite teams, but since the Bears aren't in it, I would like to see the Bills have a big celebration this year. That's what I would like to see.
I know this is going to be unpopular too, but I would love to see Tom Brady win another championship. Just how ridiculous. No, I would. Just how ridiculous it is at this point. No other team in the NFL has won more Super Bowls. Team has won more Super Bowls than Tom Brady has.
Isn't it great that Rodgers comes back? He's like, Brady's gone. He's like, I got this. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Cheesehead worst. Ugh, hate that guy. He comes back. He's like, I got a clear path to the Super Bowl. And Brady's like, hold my beer. I'm back. And Rodgers can't even get into the playoffs. Brady's in again.
Why do you hate Aaron Rodgers? I mean, he showed up for the first day of practice dressed like Nicolas Cage from Con Air. I mean, how can you not love
that's
that?
just one of a million reasons why I don't like Aaron Rodgers, man. But,
yeah, I had Josh Allen as my quarterback in my fantasy football league, and I went to the Super Bowl and lost out because they didn't let him play, or they canceled the game that Monday night, which I thought was utterly ridiculous that they canceled the game. Said that the score on the board never happened. I thought that was Roger Goodell's blunder for the year. I thought that was ridiculous to take those people's contributions and say, yeah, never happened. So I'm definitely a fan of Josh Allen. When I play the NFL Pro on the Oculus, that's the team I play as because he really did it great for me this year. And on the other side is San Francisco with McCaffrey. McCaffrey was originally on the Panthers, and they traded him over to San Francisco, and he adjusted so well. So I would love to see the Buffalo Bills and the San Francisco. I don't think they're in the same division, are they? But that would be quite a game if that's possible to happen.
So
and Nostalgia, he says, man, you guys got to stop talking about football because I'm going to sleep over here.
Nostalgia
Are you too young to know about football,
Nostalgia? I love football.
Loves football. He's just used to not being in a conversation about the playoffs because he's a Carolina Panthers fan.
I don't know what the fuck you're going on about, buddy. The Panthers are a great team. Okay. They didn't make the playoffs this year, but they're a great
That's because they gave up McCaffrey, but I guess they're looking at the future, and they got like 4 picks for them. So I guess the next year, I think they got 3 for next year and 1 for 2024.
Go ahead, Mike. Yeah,
this was a comment for you because he said that's because they're thinking about the future, and I wanted to say to you, P-Dubs, hey Eckert, think about the future.
Oh, okay. That's from what is that from?
Batman.
That's from the first Batman with Michael Keaton. Right.
The only good Batman.
Yeah.
I thought Nostalgia was the only real Batman.
Yeah.
A good Batman.
Well, at first when you were going like this, saying, hey, Eckhart, like for some reason I was thinking Untouchables at first. Remember the movie The Untouchables with Sean Connery? This is the Chicago way. You send one of us to the hospital, we send one of yours to the morgue. It's the Chicago way. Yeah. All right. So what videos are you guys working on? Nostalgia, how to mod the PlayStation in 2023?
That's the next one. Yep. How to mod the PlayStation Classic in 2023.
What else? Anything else?
How to mod the Super Nintendo Classic in 2023.
Okay. Anything to do with those piles of boxes behind you, or are you getting kicked out of the house?
No. This stuff right here, this stuff is all sealed in box collection.
Okay, Michael B, what videos you got working on? What can people expect to see on your channel coming up real soon?
Well, P-Dubs, I told you about this. I'm making a how to install CoinOps 5.0 on the AtGames Legends Ultimate in 2023 video, which should be out on Sunday. It's stupid because P-Dubs made a video. No one else ever needs to make a video on the topic.
Oh, I wasn't even the first one to make the video on the topic, but it's just weird.
How's it weird? Explain.
Because
Mike, you're not into the pirating stuff.
Yeah,
you're not into it. We literally talk about like any type of modding, and you start to cry, and then you're like, "I'm gonna pirate the shit."
That's
out of everything.
That's why it's so fascinating. It's like a guide for idiots, dummies guide for modding.
Yeah. This stream needs an enema. Thanks so much, Cyber Siles. What about you, Carl? What do you got coming up on the channel very soon?
Obviously the KI Pro. I'm still finding a way. With my channels, you can liable to find anything. I was exercising on there earlier today because this time of year I gain the most weight, I eat the most snacks, I drink the most beer with the football season. So I'm starting earlier as opposed to later and working out. So I'm definitely so I did a video just to remind people, these games and all this stuff is great, but we got to take care of our bodies We got to get up and be active, and make some room in your game rooms for some activity. We consume a lot of videos. You can be doing some type of exercise while you're watching some of these YouTube videos or listening to them. But I just want to throw that out there. It is important for our health to be maintained as well as these arcades.
Yeah. I'm going to start doing yoga in the middle of my loft, in between surrounded by my arcade machines.
You should do hot yoga.
Yeah.
You'll get so many views.
$2 from Console Fanboy. iArcade is the future, like in the movie Idiocracy. Thanks for the super chat. Let's see what else. He's 58. And
if people do actually are like super interested in emulation, I do have a video coming out on it's not a new, but a more popular, more recent SoC. It's one of the new Rockchip flagship chips. It's a single board computer that does some pretty steep emulation. You can get like PS2 running on it and GameCube and Nintendo Wii and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting. I think I'm actually pretty sure you could even get like some lower end Nintendo Switch titles running on it.
Can I get Atari 2600 running on it?
No.
Hey,
I'm not even going to try. It'd just be a waste of time.
Hey guys, I just want to put this in. Hey, Biggie D says, get out and enjoy nature, man. It's 28 degrees! 28 degrees!
Hey,
this time of year.
Biggie D lives here in Arizona, man, and he likes to go hiking, climbing those mountains and shit. And I'm like, I'll just wave at you from the bottom, brother. I'll just wave at you from the bottom. Coming up on my channel.
You guys have one season, P-Dubs? Is that what you guys have in Arizona?
Yeah, hot. It's just called hot. Arizona's just called hot. Coming up on my channel, guys, I've been sick the last couple of days, so I haven't been able to wrap up the Ridge Racer videos. I know a lot of people have been waiting on those, so I'll probably edit and post those tomorrow, Saturday, so you get some Ridge Racer content. Plus, I got a whole bunch of other stuff that I got to get done, but the Ridge Racer is the one that I think a lot of people really want to see, like yesterday. So we'll get the Buy Stuff Racing Box mod videos out, hopefully by late tomorrow afternoon. Give me time to edit them tomorrow morning, and I'll get them posted. But that's what I got going on my channel. Minus that, guys, I've started playing Warzone on PlayStation 5, and I've been getting my ass handed to me. But you know what's funny is it's kind of fun. It kind of reminds me when I first started playing Battlefront. Do you guys like Star Wars Battlefront? I actually ended up getting pretty good at Star Wars Battlefront, first-person shooting game, but because I like Star Wars and it was cheesy. But minus that, I don't play very many FPS games, so I've been playing Warzone, this Warzone Modern Warfare 2, whatever the hell it's called, and it's been hilarious. What makes it fun for me is the proximity chat, is talking to people, and people are freaking hilarious. Either they're down... I've noticed there's only two ways it works. Either A, when someone talks to you, they are like just a downright evil person. Like, they... Like there's something...
Like a nostalgia.
Yeah, like there's something wrong with them. Like I'm just sitting here playing a game. I'm just like looting a chest, and all of a sudden some guy will pop in my ear, like, "I'm coming for you, mother effer!" And they just start cursing and swearing at you. It's like, dude, we haven't even introduced ourselves yet. Like, why are you so angry? Like, why are you so mad at me? I'm in this house just looting a chest, trying to find some armor and some guns, and all of a sudden you're swearing at me. What'd I do to you? So that's one opposite end of the spectrum, right? Is there's these vile, hate-filled people that you have no idea what their problem is. And then the other side is there's people that are absolutely hilarious. You know what I mean? Absolutely hilarious. Like they come in with like voice changers, and they come in pretending to be somebody else. I had a guy driving around. I'm sitting here. I'm like, all of a sudden I heard he was like honking the horn or whatever on the truck thing as I'm in a building, and hit the proximity chat kicked in, because it kicks in automatically if someone's within like 50 yards of your character or some shit. And all of a sudden he's like, "Hello, I'm your Uber driver. Where can I take you?" And he's supposed to be killing me, and he's pretending to be an Uber driver in Warzone. It was pretty funny. So all I have to say,
those two types of character, which one of those two types of players are you, P-Dubs? Are you the jackass, or are you the comic?
I haven't tried doing either. I just because I'm just trying to figure out how to play the effing game, man. Like I'm sitting here like, what am I supposed to do here, man? It's been pretty funny. So
I cannot even do any online gaming with online chat. I just don't. I'll play online gaming. I just turn off the goddamn chat. So
but annoying. There are so many children playing that game.
That's what I was going to say. You just end up with a bunch of 12-year-olds yelling at each other.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Anyway, is that
Yeah,
the
I
show
don't-
for
I
the
don't do
night?
any of that. Pretty much. Nostalgia, I just had a question for you on the VR. Have you heard of this game called T for God?
T forgot.
For God.
T for
I don't know if
God.
it's-
No, I've
yeah.
never heard of that.
My brother was telling me about it, so I started to try it yesterday, and then my machine said charge the battery, so I didn't get a chance to try it. So I was just curious if you had heard of it. So I'm gonna check
Hadn't
that
heard
out
it.
this
I
weekend.
will check it out. I got a big list of like VR titles that I had written down somewhere that I want to try that I was reading about that are really good. So maybe I will get a chance to do that, and we can throw some up in the next video or something.
Good stuff, man. Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for another Friday evening here on the Super Game Room, dudes. If you enjoyed the content, give us a thumbs up on the way out. Leave your comments, show feedback, reaction below. Subscribe to all the hosts. And as always, my dudes, thank you for subscribing. Carl, send them on their way. Have a great weekend, everybody.
All right, guys. Well, have a great weekend. Whatever team you're rooting for this weekend, I hope they win. It's not possible that they all will, but go 49ers. And until next time, I'll see you on the web. Oh,
What?
I just want.
All right, that's better.
Oh, stop it.
And we're gone.
All right, what'd you say, Carl? What?
I said the Lions kicked the Packers, but they're not in the playoffs this year.
You
Sorry.
son of a bitch.
Do you know why? Because the Packers suck!
I feel attacked.